bib Mark got me.
There isn't a bib large enough.
What song is this?
This is We Are Family by Sister Sledge. Yeah. And in honor of Thanksgiving and the gathering of families far and wide, virtually and in person, we celebrate all that we are thankful for this holiday season.
Oh, where are you spending Thanksgiving?
So I'm doing 3 Thanksgivings. It starts tonight.
Was I invited to any of them?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, geez. Tonight is the first Friendsgiving. So that's tonight.
No, the other way.
Toward me.
There we go.
More.
There we go.
How's that? I leaned on it by accident. Tomorrow night with my nephew and niece and my sister-in-law. And then on Thursday with my friend Alicia, my friend from all the way back in graduate school, and her mom and dad. Very small groups, 5, 4, and 5.
Wow.
Keeping it small. But, I love Thanksgiving because I love the whole idea of gathering. And even while we have to do that in a more socially distant way, I also love stuffing. You know the difference between stuffing and dressing, right?
What?
Stuffing is in the bird. Dressing is on the side. Very important to know, because if you say pass the stuffing, you're going to get the juicy, flavorful interior stuffing. Whereas if you just ask for the stuffing, you might get something that's a little less appetizing.
Can you get the camera on me for a second? I just want to
so needy.
Know. Look at this. Look at this bib that Mark got me.
So that is actually a bag made of recycled material. But zoom in on that. Can you see what it says? It says shopsmall.com, which is an 11-year-old program.
Look at that.
An 11-year-old program from American Express and the Women in Public Policy. And Coral Gables is celebrating our 10th anniversary of producing Small Business Saturday. And I'm super excited. We're going to be joined by our sister chamber in South Dade. Carrie Black and her team are also participating.
Woo! You guys, this, and she calls it, she said, and I don't know if it's her saying or it's American Express, shop small season.
Sure, that sounds great.
It sounds great. And I think that there's enough local businesses in Coral Gables to shop local. If you go online, try to buy it online from a local merchant in Coral Gables, because everybody needs them. Everybody says, work their Coral Gables. Well, their rent's higher. Everybody's struggling. Shop small, shop local. And that's November what? When's it start?
November 28th. But you know what? You can start doing that now. If you're not comfortable going into a store, or you want to do it maybe when there's a smaller crowd, then be doing that now or go online. Many of these small businesses have great websites with great e-commerce opportunities, but we just want you to buy local. We want you to shop local, buy local, spend local.
Okay, I'm a little confused.
Yes.
You're wearing an orange jacket with oranges on it. Talk about
My shirt has oranges on it, orange slices. So this is a shirt. There's a great designer named Robert Graham. And what I love about Robert Graham is that he makes a full line for big and tall men. And so this comes from the DXL store here in South Dade, as you're on your way.
1X or 2X?
This is a 2X, but Robert Graham makes up to 6X.
And which one do you wear?
I wear a 2.
Wow.
But it's a little snug here, sort of around the belly.
Pretty,
but
if you're not,
have a big
I know
lunch.
you're not on the Orange Bowl committee, but they're missing out.
Oh, they could really style their jackets. Check out this. This is made by a great company called the Bespoke Club. And what they did was work with me not only on orange buttons, but one blue button and one blue buttonhole. And then, check out what's back here. What does this say?
Hey, what song is this?
It's our fight song. What does that say?
Mr. Coral Gables! Hey, we got your song on. What is this?
This is the orange and blue. So the Gators are 7-1. We're in the hunt for the SEC East title. Our magic number is 2. We need to win 2 out of the next 3 versus Kentucky, Tennessee, or LSU.
That means we'll play Alabama?
And we could play Alabama. They're in the driver's seat. That would be, I believe it would still be in Atlanta, where the SEC championship has been for many years.
It's pretty exciting how great. I know we're supposed to talk about Coral Gables Chamber, but it's so exciting about the Gators. It's, you got the colors on. It's just so exciting.
Well, I am a devoted Gator, but I also understand that, not everybody wants to hear about football when we're talking chamber. But I do think 2 great things have been happening. One, everybody in this country is fatigued from COVID and the conversation around COVID. But we can't let down our guard. We need to continue to wear our masks. I was just on a Zoom press conference with our new mayor, Daniela Levine Cava. And
Who
she
watches your show
convened,
here?
she does, and she convened about 160 leaders across the county, chamber leaders, mayors, members of city councils and commissions, health experts, her own chief medical
I must have
officer,
missed your
and her
invitation.
team. I got mine from Mike Finney and the Beacon Council. So
Oh.
thanks, Mike, for the invite. And she covered really 4 key areas. One, what her response has been over the last week since she became mayor 1 week ago today, and what her response will continue to be. Then we heard from Mike Finney about what's happening with businesses. We heard from Peter Page, her chief medical officer. We heard from Carlos Magoya from our public hospital. And then we heard from each of our mayors. So we heard from Mayor Gelber. We heard from Mayor Suarez and others. We heard from Joe Corradino, who you know, Mayor Corradino, who also chairs the League of Cities. So really great to see that many people come together. You had your university presidents. I saw Julio Frank on that.
Wow, this is impressive.
It was.
She is putting together a team, a great team to move forward. And by the way, the new COO, where does he live?
He lives in Coral Gables. You're talking about our own Jimmy Morales?
That's right. Former county commissioner, former city
manager. Yeah. So he was supposed to stay there till February, and he got the call early. And so he is going to begin that role, really being her eyes and ears. And he knows the county super well, but he's also a great advocate for constituents, businesses, residents alike. So we're looking forward to working with Jimmy Morales again in a more formal role. And listen, it's been great. I've been texting back and forth with Mayor Levine Cava for the last couple of weeks, and she's just very keen about get focused on the virus, working on getting people to make good decisions, especially with the Thanksgiving season upon us. And then most importantly, let's get focused on our businesses.
She is really concentrating. I really appreciate what she's doing, building little teams to make it move forward. With Jimmy Morales, he ran, if not City Miami, it might be bigger, but Miami Beach was active, had a big business district, nightlife. So he understands all the issues combined in Miami Beach. I think he's going to do a great job. And he lives in Coral Gables, the heart and soul of Dade County. And
they do. And, Mayor Levine Cava lives just outside of Coral Gables.
You mean,
and so
down at, yes, a couple blocks out.
Just a couple blocks outside of it. So, we're very blessed to have good relationships. I think as she continues to build her team, we'll see even more relationships that we can collaborate with and catalyze with and ignite with. And we really need everybody rowing in the same direction. I don't care whether you're a university president like Julio Frank, or you're Mike Finney, or you're a leader of our chambers like I am and my colleagues, or you're talking with our medical experts like Dr. Peter Page and Dr. Eileen Marty and others.
Speak about, going back to Jimmy Morales, his biggest or the best thing about him is his wife.
Dory.
Yeah, she's a hell of a support team. And
she is, and she's right now the president of the Florida Bar. So she has a very high profile position in our state, working with our lawyers, and that's a very active, very busy, very engaged association.
Yeah, so it's all exciting. Okay, I'm going to change the subject for a second. I don't know if you read that Mayor Foley came out with a talk about Miracle Mile.
He did.
And he came right out and says, we need to do this. We need this.
He published in your paper, if I recall.
Absolutely. And then we had the vice mayor. He wrote something about it also.
Yes.
It's an interesting topic. People are going, keep Miracle Mile the way it is. Well, everybody's struggling there. Not all the business, but they need more traffic.
Yeah. And I would tell you that's not a new phenomenon. So I think
about
when
40 years old.
When you look at both the mayor's op-ed and you look at the vice mayor's op-ed, people might think that they're going in different directions. And I would say find the common opportunities there. Both of these leaders, as well as the entire commission, want to see Miracle Mile back to its heyday. And that really requires more foot traffic. That requires people who live downtown, who will walk out their front door.
You say downtown Coral Gables.
Downtown Coral Gables, who will walk to the restaurants and the retail, whose lives and livelihoods are integrated into where they live. And we know that younger people enjoy that. There have been a lot of conversations about development, and there'll be a workshop next Monday, the 30th at 5. And I hope both business leaders will tune in. I hope both residents will tune in and share their thoughts. I think it'll be a great opportunity to hear from the public. I know 2 things. 1, Coral Gables is great at solving problems, and 2, there is no shortage of folks who want to be integrated and included in the conversation. And I appreciate that. Engagement is everything.
The old bus stop The bus terminal.
The bus depot that became Gables Grand. That took a vision. Think about that. How many years ago?
Grand? What is that? That's the museum, right?
So that's across the street. But what you have there is you have one of the earliest projects that had residential that was rental. And then you had the retail at the bottom. So you had Ruth's Chris there.
Right.
You had a couple of other
Orange Theory
stores. Orange Theory is on the east side. You've got a nail salon. You've got a trophy store. You've got a rug store. There's a bunch of retail.
Yeah, they had a lot of pushback back in that day, and they made the right decision, and it helps Core Gables. I mean, that's
sure.
That's why Core Gables is exciting.
That predates me, but I think you can point to a couple of things. I think you can point to the appetite to develop Gables Grand, the Palace, Shops at Merrick Park. All of those took a vision broader than maybe what people who had lived and worked in Coral Gables had seen before. And I think what people will say now, you know, Gables Grand has been there, oh my gosh, it must be going on 20 years. I think Shops at Merrick Park's about 18 years, is that it's worked out.
Shops at Merrick, what was that before?
That was the yard for the city of Coral Gables. It's where they parked trucks.
And Merrick Park is just beautiful.
So think about two things there, Grant.
Are they a member?
They are. They're a great trustee member, and we work very closely with Andrew Peach and his team from Brookfield. They're the property management and ownership group. But think about this. So you took something that was blighted in a centerpiece of the city and put it back on the tax rolls. So it's doing three things for you. It's bringing people to the community, it's paying taxes, and it's gorgeous. So I think, again, the chamber looked at that issue very, very carefully, very seriously. We got some pushback, not only from residents, but from businesses on Miracle Mile who felt like it was a threat. And what I would say today is that that shopping district complements Miracle Mile. So if you want to come to Coral Gables and shop, if you don't find maybe what you're looking for in the Shops at Merrick Park, well, you go to Miracle Mile. Or maybe you go have lunch and then you go shopping in the afternoon. You can make it a full day. And by the way, they interconnect through the trolley and the freebie system.
You know, Miracle Mile has such great history. And, you know, the Actors Playhouse, you know, when that comes back, there'll be more foot traffic. But it's historical. It's like Lincoln Road. And Lincoln Road keeps evolving. You saw what they're doing now on Lincoln Road. They have some music on golf carts.
Yeah.
Right? That's a pretty smart idea.
Oh, and you know what? Each of those districts, and I think when you talk to Tim Schmond and his team at their bid, they find ways to leverage the character of their district. So, you know, Coral Gables has maybe a slightly different feel to it, but we've done the live music thing. We are going to have mural art coming here at the beginning of the new year, 4 murals that are going to be installed along Miracle Mile. And we know that that type of public art draws people. And we want to do that in a safe and amazing way. But think about the ability to Instagram those murals and what that will do in terms of creating a phenomenon that we probably haven't seen since maybe the Umbrella program or, you know, some of the other public art, the snails that we did before that. So I give the city a lot of credit. They're trying to work in parallel with what the chamber and other entities are asking them, and they're finding a way to really make it work.
People say, there's no parking at Miracle Mile. Well, it seems to me like every block there's valet.
Yeah, so right now only one of those valet stands is open.
Is there
We had
only
4
one
at
now?
one time right now because we had closed it during COVID, and so we brought one back. But you know, it's a challenge because not everybody's ready to have somebody in their car, nor are they necessarily ready to, you know, park. You know, they're more willing to park in the parking garage, and there's plenty of parking off the mile 1 block. So come back, try us out. The sidewalks are super wide. You can socially distance while walking in a group, and come and support Small Business Saturday. We're going to be doing a kickoff event at 11:30 a.m. This Saturday, Jay's Jewelers. I want to thank our good friends Jill Hornick and Bruce Hornick, 2nd and 3rd generation owners. They're celebrating their 75th anniversary. So not only are we going to celebrate a great small business, great jewelry store, but we're going to celebrate their anniversary and a 3rd generation family doing what our small businesses have always done, which is be the backbone of our economy, create jobs, and create opportunities.
Hey, Tommy, let's take a little note. Maybe you and I'll go there and do live Facebook there.
Okay.
Saturday at 11:30. I might be in the similar outfit.
Wow. Diamond Awards is coming up soon.
They are. So in just about 3 weeks, we're going to be hosting the Diamond Awards. And I thought if you would indulge me, I would read a list of all of the finalists. They were announced a week ago, and we have a big announcement.
Wow. These are finalists?
Today. Yes. So the finalists are in the Outstanding Large Business, Camilla's House, Garcia Espinosa, Miares Rodriguez Trueba and Company, CPAs.
Wow.
And Work Lab. Outstanding Small Business. So the difference is more than 25 employees, 25 or less. Beat Culture Brewery, Dabowski Design Group, and DLE Legal. Diamond in the Rough, which is a company that has been in business less than 3 years. Comic Kids, Dora's Bakery and Bistro, and Jelly Places.
What's Jelly Places?
That is a program whereby you can sign up and then you can go and work out of a jelly place. It's very fluid. So you can come to our office. We're one of the jelly places.
I was getting all excited. I thought it was like jelly donuts.
I know you get excited.
Yeah.
I do like it when you do.
Okay.
Outstanding nonprofit, we have Be Strong International, Girl Scouts of Tropical Florida, Humane Society of Greater Miami.
And all three of those organizations do outstanding.
They are.
Work.
That's a tough category for the judges. We have 8 judges who worked with all of the applicants, winnowed them down, categorized them, and then independently voted on the winners.
Be Strong been around how long? A couple years.
A few years.
The other
and
two.
You've got Danielle Dubach and her team.
Right, great team.
Girl Scouts have been around a long time.
And every year they're battling different issues, and more power to them. And the Humane Society does great work.
Yes. And right now, the great news is because of people being home during COVID, we've been able to clear out many of the shelters there. And, Humane Society is a no-kill shelter.
We had Miami-Dade Animal Services here.
Sure.
They do a show.
Alex Munoz.
Yeah, we had him. Then we had the doctor come. What they do is unbelievable.
I used to work with Alex Munoz.
When?
Many years ago at the Super Bowl.
Wow.
There you go.
I like him. He's my height.
Can I tell you something funny about him?
What?
So my second day on the job, I got called into his office because I had written a memo and I had sent it out to, the volunteers. This was at the Super Bowl. Just welcoming them, letting them know who I was, et cetera, et cetera. So at the end of the day, I get called into his office and he has the memo. And he's like, could we talk about this? I'm like, sure. Now I'm 6'3". He's probably 5'7", 6.
Okay, whatever you say.
And he says, I just want you to know that it's SOP that you run any type of memo past me. SOP. And I said, SOP? And he goes, I didn't come from the county. He was on loan from the county. He said, SOP is standard operating procedure. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm glad to do that. So he goes, but by the way, it's a really well-written memo. I said, I know. I went to University of Florida. And you, my friend, went to Florida State. Let's continue with the outstanding woman-owned businesses.
All right.
Equipaws Pet Services, Miami Fine Arts Academy, TB Media Group.
We had the paw lady here yesterday, didn't we?
Did you?
Yeah.
Equipaws? Yeah. That's Flavia, right?
And, okay.
Barlot Business Systems, Intermediate Touch, and Jackson Maximus are under the outstanding family-owned businesses.
Wait, say it again. I didn't hear that one.
Barlot Business Systems, Intermediate Touch, and Jackson Maximus.
What's Jackson?
So they do men's grooming, and they also do fine clothes.
In the Gables, right?
They're just outside the Gables.
Yeah, but every time I go by there, I think of the ice cream place from Broward.
I get you. Oh, yeah, Jackson's.
And then the Intermediate Touch, they did something in your building.
They did. They did all of our wonderful IT and AV.
Okay, what's next?
Outstanding Hospitality Restaurant Entity, Thesis Hotel, Travel by Design, and Zuka Miami.
Zuka, where's that?
That's right across from our office in the San Michel Hotel.
Ah.
Outstanding Healthcare, you have Choice MD, Kids Medical Services.
Oh, I love them.
Our friend Wayne Bracken, and Osteo Strong.
And then what's that? Wait, don't go.
That's a new company that's new to our chamber, but they work with you and folks that have bone and bone density issues.
Okay.
Outstanding law firm, we have Casal and Moreno, Peter Weber Del Prado, Tolley and Tolley.
Wow,
and then our outstanding.
These are some
and we had probably 3 times this amount of applicants. And then outstanding green businesses, we have Avion Auto Spa, Jelly Places, Love It, and University of Miami.
Wait, so Jelly Beans are there in twice?
Jelly Places. Yeah, the ones under green business have been certified in a program that the city and the chamber do jointly. So they'll be recognized, all 4 of those. For going
what else you got on there?
Then we're giving out our Chamber's Vanguard Award to Jay's Jewelers for their 75th anniversary. And here's the big announcement that no one has heard yet today. We are announcing Our business leader of the year is Dr. Penny Schaefer, market president of Florida Blue.
Penny! Woo!
So this event will be held virtually with some in-person, very limited opportunities. And that will be on Tuesday, December 15th.
Penny
so look
Schaefer,
forward to that.
You know, I've seen her for years.
I know you have. She's been a major
I say hi
part
to her.
of.
She says hi to me.
Yes.
But she is so delightful.
Delightful, dynamic.
Where's she from? What state?
She's from the great state of West Virginia.
Yeah. So this is crazy that Tommy lived in West Virginia for. And she brought in some certain sauce from West Virginia. But
really?
Right, Tommy?
Oliverio's peppers.
I know that when West Virginians meet one another, you first make sure you're not related. And then when you find out where the family tree has split, then you're like family, my friend. And I love it. But Tommy has hair that is imported from West Virginia. It's a gorgeous head of hair.
So Penny was so delightful.
Yes.
And really brilliant. So congratulations to that team.
Well, and congratulations to her. And I want to thank our nominees. I want to thank our finalists. I want to thank our judges and our board for their great work. And we're going to have a great time on the 15th. We're going to do something really fun and spectacular that no other group has done.
Okay, what do you got? December to remember. A lot of things going on. December.
So, we're very active in December. So, we're going to be heavily focused on recruitment. So, the month of November has been good to us. We have 13 new members of the chamber, which is our high watermark for the last 4 months, including 4 new trustees. And next month, we'll have a full cadre of programs. So we'll have our Reconnect Luncheon, our Wind Down Wednesday, our first in-person event limited to 30 folks. We'll have our book club. We'll have our Tronos. We'll have our breakfast, Impact, and our Diamond Awards. It's going to be a busy month up until we wrap it up on or about December 20th.
This looks like a bib.
It does.
But the truth of it is, this is when you take me to Joe's on Miami Beach. Not that.
Can we get into Joe's? You have to kind of, grease the palm.
No,
right?
You do not grease the palm. That is
What
against rules. On the way out, you say thank you to him.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. We got the 46 Impact. What's that going on?
So
January
one of the
20th?
things that we're doing is that on January 20th, Inauguration Day, we are hosting a program that afternoon after the inauguration called Dear 46. So it's a love letter to the incoming president, Joe Biden, about what the business community is going to be looking for and what we see in our crystal ball in terms of things he's talked about, appointments he's made. The market has done well since the election with the idea that probably the Senate may stay in the Republican hands. So you have a split government. And what I have seen and what my folks have told us is the market likes that for a check and balance. So we'll see. There's still 2 Senate races in Georgia to be decided in early January 5th. But by the 20th, we're going to know kind of where we're headed.
You said, well, December, you're starting to wrap it up. I have to disagree with you. You're taking a pause.
December 20th, but yes.
Okay, you're taking a pause, a small pause, because you guys, January, you're rocking and rolling.
Listen, I hope that as we turn the page, literally and figuratively, that people are optimistic. We've got to do better with, the COVID cases, because if we hit it in January and we're still dealing with these spikes, I'm concerned that people will have an emotional response to that, because I think folks are tired, they're frustrated. So use this time over the next couple of days to, rejuvenate, re-energize. That's what we're going to do. And listen, we draw great energy around seeing our small businesses be celebrated. It's one of the best things that we do, not only as a chamber. So I'm so happy that Carrie and her team are joining the movement, but it's happening nationwide. And even though most of it will be virtual, share your stories, share your thoughts. I don't care if you're the shop owner or you're the person buying or you're online clicking away. Support those small businesses. They need you now more than ever.
Everybody does. We got to keep it moving. Everybody
Agreed.
has to work together to be successful. And there are a lot of businesses are doing great. But there
are ones that have never really suffered. They've been in that essential category.
Right. Hardware stores. And people are not spending as much money in travel, so they're buying cars.
They're not. So I expect people to spend more money on gifts because they have a few more bucks in their pocket.
And what should we get you, Mark? What would you like?
Listen, the best gift I have is that I get to come here with you an hour once a week, every Tuesday at 3.
I wish you a Merry Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
You got Dale Carnegie training?
You let me sing too, which most people don't.
Dale Carnegie?
We're doing a program to wrap up the December programming with Dale Carnegie on virtual selling, helping you get ready to make that pivot back in the first quarter of 2021. And there will be some folks who will still want to be with you virtually, maybe at least the first meeting. Maybe they're not ready to sit across the table with a mask on and have a coffee. But, we did a poll twice last week with our members at our women's lunch and at our breakfast. And 68 to 72% said they're ready to meet in person as long as we have some social distancing employed, some limited attendance, temperature taking, and masks required. I mean, that's an overwhelming response. Only 6% said, no, I'm not ready to do anything. And the rest just weren't quite sure yet.
If you drive around, traffic is bad. It's getting, and I like traffic because when there's traffic, that means business. And I think that people are nervous, but they're going out to eat. They're trying to communicate. They're trying to keep their distance.
Listen, and I think you can look at various measures. I think traffic's a great, eyeball test. When you go to a restaurant, are you seeing people as much inside as outside? Third, and this is the big one, following what's happening at our schools. If our schools are able to manage and control, deal with the issues of contact tracing, then I think that's a good barometer for how we can be continuing to recover.
Morgan what is Morgan's title?
She's our communications manager.
Morgan, why are you putting pumpkin pie up there? Why are you saying that? Because I love pumpkin pie.
That's my favorite.
I love pumpkin pie.
That's my nickname during the holiday season. People call me pumpkin pie.
But you brought up the schools. What's interesting?
Call me that.
Pumpkin.
Thank you.
It's the private schools have a little more control in their schools. And they're just all plugging away. So a bunch of schools they started, and the virus. Most of the kids that get it, it's not from other students.
It's at home or
right
outside of school. And I heard the superintendent talk about that, and I think he probably has the best data, much like the new mayor has the best data at her fingertips. But I'll tell you one thing: they are using contact tracing. They are reaching out. My godson rode a bus a week and a half ago home with a kid who then was contact traced. So they contact traced everybody on the bus. He didn't get the call, got to the school. They knew right as he walked in to stop him and send him home. So they are being very diligent. That's at Coral Reef High School. So that's at a public school. Some of the private schools went back to school a little bit earlier to try it out, but they do have some smaller school, classrooms.
Exactly.
And they have a lot of parents who do the drop off. I think there's a difference when you're on a larger vehicle like a school bus. So everybody has to be diligent. And I told them, wear your mask.
Whether you love the superintendent or not, this guy is moving forward, strong. And it's tough because he's got 300,000 students or whatever the number is. Not
plus
all
faculty, plus staff, plus bus drivers.
And he's got all these different unions fighting. And he's moving forward to provide an education for our kids.
Listen, our governor made it clear on September 25th what his expectation was with his order. Now, has there been pushback? Absolutely. Do I expect our new mayor to question some of those things? I think so. I think it's one of the reasons that she was elected is that she's going to be willing to let science, take precedence. She's appointed, as she promised to, within the first 5 days, a public health officer and chief medical officer, Peter Page, and one that everybody, respects. He gave a great presentation today on the press conference. But I know this, we all have to do our part. We don't do a single publication on our Instagram or a video that I do that we're not wearing masks, even if we're by myself at 7 a.m. in my front yard. We want to send that message that this is the only way that we know. Now, listen, a lot of exciting news. Every day there's an exciting movement on the vaccine front. You heard that from AstraZeneca today, Pfizer last week, Moderna middle of the week.
Oxford.
We're hearing things every day. But, a couple things have to happen. They got to get FDA emergency approval next. They have to do an incredible amount of deployment and distribution once they create the vaccine. And some of them are a two-step process. So if you're going to go with Pfizer, it's got to be at a very low temperature, very cold, 2 doses in a period of 21 days apart. The one I think AstraZeneca is doing is also a dual dose. It's a half and then a full dose.
By the way, there's a plexiglass between us. So there's a question.
By the way, that was here long before COVID.
Yeah. The question is, what does Mark want for Christmas? Please, everybody, drop pumpkin pies off at the at the chamber office. Small, large. You get the little pumpkin pies, big pumpkin pies, whipped with. Don't put the whipped cream on there. Just bring the can. Put the can next to it.
Let me tell you how it works, and I will give the greatest shout out to our friend Elizabeth Silverman from Catering by Lovables.
She's just lovable.
Who works in partnership with Bill Hansen Catering, and Elizabeth every year brings me the most delicious pumpkin pie I eat all year. I wish pumpkin pie was available 365. And here's the way I like it. Ready? So a little bit of an oversized piece, not quite an eighth of a pie, but more like a sixth. So it's cross, cross, cross. Pull it out, put it in the microwave for 40 seconds. So it's a little bit warmed up. And then you put a generous helping of Ready Whip on top.
Okay, when you get the pumpkin pie from Lovable, that's her name, Lovable.
She is
I'm
lovable.
coming over.
She makes the best pies in the business.
Okay,
and
so,
every year at this time of year, she's so gracious and generous with her
Elizabeth.
staff. We love you, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Look at me, Elizabeth. 6796 Southwest 62 Avenue. Drop one off for me, too. And Mark will buy it.
It's not even a real address.
Oh. Okay. Election season's right around the corner in Coral Gables.
It is.
I got a question.
Yes.
There's only 2 or 3 cities that have election not in August or November.
There's
Coral
a couple.
Gables,
Miami Springs, where I live.
South
Gables,
Miami.
South Miami.
Why?
You know, that's part of the charter. And there have been discussions and debates about putting it on the date of the general election. One, it's more cost effective. 2, you ensure a greater voter turnout. But, you know, there are some things that are traditional. I'm sure that when the charter review happened now 5 years ago, that they looked at that. I don't know what it ends up costing Coral Gables, but they now have a runoff system. So there's not only a general election on April 6th, there could be a runoff.
Right, if you do it in August and November. But that's up to the charter and the people.
It is. And you know what? The chamber doesn't necessarily get involved in the conversation about candidates, other than we ask people to study the issues, study the candidates. We obviously look at what their stances are on business issues, but we don't endorse candidates. But I will meet with any candidate that wants to meet and have a one-on-one. I did it yesterday at 4:00. Someone who's considering running, and they just want to know, where's the chamber on this? How do we engage? How do you balance development? How do you work with the residents? Things like that.
You know, Coral Gables has a great mix of business and residents, and you have to meet with the business community because that's the engine.
Sure.
And
they bring in about 38% of the tax base, and by the time you factor in other things like parking fees, impact fees, parking meters, you're close to 50% of the tax
more than
base.
most cities.
More than most cities, and certainly more than most cities of 51,000.
Right. So what will be the issues in the April election?
I suspect it'll be a conversation again about development. You see what's already happening regarding the zoning code in Miracle Mile. I think there'll be conversations about, new blood and getting new faces onto the commission. I think it's wonderful that 9 people have put their hat in the ring for 2 open seats. We don't often have open seats on the dais.
No.
So it's pretty exciting. I think that'll drive voter turnout. And I think people are incredibly empowered after seeing what happened on November 3rd in terms of 100 and almost nearly 50 million people coming out to vote, whether direct or absentee or vote by mail. And it's pretty awesome. I hope that momentum will continue.
I think the feeling is going to be people are going to continue to come out and vote strong.
Listen, I wrote an op-ed just about a year and a half ago after the elections and said, 1, it's time to move on and govern. 2, it's time to get some new faces running for office. And we're seeing that. It's incredible to see that of these 9 folks, only 1 has ever run for office before that I am aware of. And the other 8 are new names on the ballot. And that's wonderful.
And every city needs new blood, new ideas.
Yes.
And so it's exciting for Coral Gables.
Listen, and you know what? I think we appreciate an engaged electorate. Listen, the business community is one of the engines that makes Coral Gables go. There are multiple engines, and I think you're
like a big contender or a Viking. You got like 5 engines pushing the city.
Well, listen, we have an incredible tax base in our residential community, so we can't, discount that in any way. But, at the end of the day, I think folks who have their feet kind of in both worlds, where they've maybe been a business owner or been a leader in a business, and then they're a resident, but they're an engaged resident. Maybe they're on a board in the community. Maybe they're a philanthropist. I think what you're going to find is they're going to be very well positioned and ready candidates to serve from day one. So the chamber will be there on April 6th when it's time to serve, or if there's a runoff 2 weeks later. We're going to work with whomever is elected, mayor, commissioners, and continue to work with Commissioners Mena and Forrest.
What's interesting, even the 8 people that are running, a lot of them don't know the exact boundaries of Coral Gables. Coral Gables goes all the way down to 144th Street. On the east side, people don't know that. And some people think that at the 8th Street, it ends. There's a little finger that goes up there.
Sure.
So
We have a Publix up there, if you will, towards 37
yeah,
and Flagler.
people really don't have no clue that's part of Core Gables.
Well, I think one of the things that we hope for are those that are running will do everything they can to educate themselves. The chamber is here for you to be an educational conduit, and even if it's just sitting down and having a cup of coffee. I remember that very first conversation I had with Vince Lago. I had never met him before. This was over 8 years ago when he was running for commission, and wasn't engaged in the chamber, but was in the community, and he wanted to talk about that. And I've really appreciated the beginning of that relationship. I feel the same way about Pat Keon. She joined our board and really got to know our chamber.
She's very active with the chamber.
Yep, and got to know our business community. So those two are great candidates for mayor. They have some different ideas and philosophies, and the voters will decide. But the other 9, we're going to vet them and ask them a lot of questions, especially how they're going to continue.
You're going to host a debate?
We will host a municipal
Chamber
forum.
Does not endorse.
We do not. But we certainly ask questions that support our agenda of business climate, business development.
You had one at UM last year.
We've had 2 at UM in a row.
And they were outstanding. I don't know who picks the
moderator.
Moderator. They was very good.
2 years ago, the moderator came from the Department of Political Science at the university. And before that, we had Tom Hudson from WLRN.
Tom Hudson's a pro.
We're very lucky. We get people who are not only acutely aware of things that are going on in the cables, but they do their homework and research, and they create a little bit of a buffer because the questions come from the moderator without our direct input. We give them ideas and topics, but we don't see the questions in the same vein that the candidates don't see them. We create that level of transparency and insulation.
Gem invite starts December.
Yeah, we're going to have our first Gemster joining me on December 1st, so next Tuesday. And we're starting to sign them up. I know on the 8th, Lillian Sir and Sir & Associates will be joining me, so get ready.
An education series is coming. Breakfast. I have an education breakfast.
We just had it. It was last Thursday. It was great. Alberto Carvalho spoke. We also had a presentation from the Everglades Foundation, and we had greetings from... It was not Eric, but Jen Diaz on his team.
They just hired a new person.
They may have.
I read it in the community newspapers.
Did you?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You get that delivered?
Yeah, bam, right to me.
My favorite thing about that breakfast is the young people really run it. And I give a lot of credit to Erica and the team because we had about 20 different speakers, and they went off like clockwork.
When this virus gets past and we go back to the regular world, it's going to be interesting because the Zoom, more people participate, but they're not engaged as much if we're one person.
Their cameras are off, or their head is in their lap, or they're multitasking. And listen, I do the same, so it's no judgment. But I do think it's harder to engage people.
Wait, December when? You cutting that off?
I'm doing it on Small Business Saturday.
Oh, good.
So on Saturday, I'm having, you ready?
Ready.
Haircut, shave.
It's just part of the set.
Manicure.
What time?
2:00.
Tommy? Facebook Live. We're going to do.
Come on in. Look at this thing. I look like Father Time. It comes in grayer and grayer.
This is what's going to happen. Tommy and I are going to show up at 11 o'clock.
Great.
We're going to do live.
11:30.
Whatever. 11 or 11:30.
11:30. Matter of fact, I'm going to hand you.
Okay, then Tommy. Then I'm going to drop
a show.
Okay, then
for the whole day.
After we do that, about an hour, and then I'm going to drop him off at Duffy's for 2 hours.
Yes.
Then I'll pick him back up because he loves football. Then we'll do the other thing. Okay, a couple more things. What's next for the chamber? What else is happening?
So I think next for us is obviously finishing both November and December strong, getting us psychologically prepared for turning the page into 2021. I think all of us are very, very hopeful and optimistic, even with some of the challenging news that we have, that 2021 is going to bring us big things, and the chamber is going to be right at the forefront of that. And then I think the second thing is that, we're going to continue to be the collaborator that we've always been. You mentioned having Carrie on here earlier. We're going to keep doing those things and work with our new electeds, because that season is upon us, not only in terms of Coral Gables, but state session will be happening in March, April, early May. We've got some new leadership, including folks like Brian Avila, who are the Speaker Pro Tem. We have serious leaders, and we've got a future speaker in the pipeline in Danny Perez.
A Columbus grad, just FYI. I got to plug the old Columbus boys. All right, well, it's a great day at Miami Community Newspapers, a better day in Coral Gables. Mark's going to have 3 Thanksgivings starting tonight.
Starting tonight, tomorrow night, and midday on Thursday.
And pumpkin pie starting Saturday, delivered to the chamber, or you can deliver Mark's pumpkin pies to Miami.
Feel free to start dropping them off as early as tomorrow or picking back up on Monday.
But more important, shop small, shop local. Starting on, you don't have to wait to Saturday. But it's great. Mark, closing remarks. Can we get my music on, Maestro?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you all for always allowing us to come into your home, onto your phone, or into your laptop. Thanks for always supporting our chamber and all of your local chambers. We do this because our businesses are essential. They have been day one. They're the job creators. And this time of year, well, they need your love and support more than ever. Not just because it's Small Business Saturday, but because it is a great opportunity to celebrate the backbone of America's economy. I look forward to seeing many of you virtually on the 28th or live and in person as we traverse Miracle Mile, Giralda Plaza, and the entire City Beautiful. But mostly, take good care of yourself, be healthy, wear your masks, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Here's our song, right? And by the way, you too can wear that combination. There's Michael Miller in the background. Everybody, have a great day. Miami Community Newspaper.
Sister Sledge.